What's up, YouTube? So for today I want to talk about this series that's been going around YouTube that I'm pretty sure most of y'all have watched, called The Mind of Jake Paul by Shane Dawson. I figured for the second episode, last episode we talked about the whole feud between me and Matthew Santoro, and for today's episode the only thing that even made sense to talk about was this series by Shane Dawson. Just with everything going on, I knew I had to talk about it because literally it's everywhere. Every YouTuber is talking about it. I think the first episode got 20 million views, which I don't know how much YouTubers you watch, but no one gets that many views. I don't know a single YouTuber that can get 20 million views on the first episode of a series they're doing. So it's pretty insane. I actually, just to spoil it, I did not like the series. I honestly thought I was gonna love it. I looked forward to this series for as soon as it was announced, because for one, I do like Shane Dawson. Shane Dawson's a good YouTuber. And also, I really like Jake Paul. I understand most people do not like both of them, or at least before the series began. A lot of his fans like Jake Paul now, but I've always I never watched, I don't watch Jake Paul, I don't watch his videos. I never seen one, but I always liked him as a person. The boxing match with Deji, I really enjoyed that boxing match, and I really enjoyed the beef. And I feel with YouTube, sometimes I feel sometimes we forget that these are actual, real people, and we get caught up in the drama and the beef, and that's what I did. So I've always liked Jake Paul just because I think the drama and the fighting and everything, I think it's entertaining, and I like being entertained. So I like Jake Paul as something to entertain me. And I like Shane Dawson because I do watch his videos. I do watch his content. I've watched him since I was 11 years old. And I've always loved, especially, I kind of got off of him. I haven't watched him in a while. Then I started watching when he started making conspiracy theory videos again. So it's just, I thought I was going to love this series. I did not watch this series with Jeffree Star because he did that before this Jake Paul series. I didn't watch it. I watched a little bit of the first one. I didn't really because I don't know Jeffree Star, so I didn't really watch it. But I honestly thought I was gonna love this series so much. And unfortunately, I didn't. And to review it, I just wanted to go in letting you guys know that I am biased because I did not like the series. But I am gonna give my opinion on each episode and talk about some things that happened. For the first episode, I'm gonna group 1 and 2 together because they kind of talk about the same thing. Jake Paul being a sociopath. I actually, this is also unpopular, but I really liked the whole sociopath thing because I thought it was really entertaining, even though, a lot of people criticize Shane Dawson for his reactions being over the top. I did think they were over the top, but I didn't mind because I didn't look at it as a documentary, I looked at it as entertainment. And first 2 episodes, the whole sociopath thing really interests me because if you haven't seen it, Shane Dawson was because a popular theory going around is that Jake Paul is a sociopath. So he was kind of addressing that and seeing if he was one, and later he finds out that he's not, or at least he says that he's not. But that's the thing is I really like the angle they were doing. I know just because I know Jake, I know he gets really emotional, which I also get really emotional over things, I understood. But I knew he wasn't a sociopath, and I think Shane knew he was a sociopath, and I think everyone watching knew he wasn't a sociopath. But I thought it was pretty entertaining, and I thought, when Shane met with the therapist in episode 2, I thought that was pretty entertaining too. It wasn't until I started seeing other people's opinions and figuring out that maybe, the sociopath angle wasn't the best thing to do because, there are obviously real sociopaths and they got offended. But when just looking at it as entertainment, I really liked the video. I thought it was both the whole sociopath thing really interested me. I thought it was really good. And then the next episode, episode 3, he started talking about the family of Jake Paul, which, I don't really know much about Jake. Like I said, the only time I really watched him is I like learning about the drama, and I really liked his fight with Deji. So I don't really know anything about his mom or dad. But basically, the whole episode, Shane was watching videos of Jake's mom, and Jake's dad, and he was kind of talking about Logan, which I think is kind of interesting that like Jake Paul, I feel like kind of got redeemed by this series. Logan, who I'd hate anyway, so I'm kind of fine with this, but Logan got like dragged pretty hard, and like I think the person who hurt the most from this series is Logan. I don't think Jake did not get hurt at all. I think he like majorly got help, and like he's majorly liked again, or at least he's liked by more people. But Logan got some pretty hate, like just looking at Twitter and everything. Logan's dealing with some stuff, which kind of makes me pretty happy, because I don't know, I've never liked Logan at all. I've always hated Logan. Even before the Suicide Force thing, I've never hated Logan. Mostly because like, you know, Logan's known as like, he was always the better brother and like the more popular brother. And like Jake was always in his shadow, and I kind of sympathize with that, because that's kind of how it, you know, is with me a little bit. But yeah, I'm kind of happy about how that ended up. Greg Paul, Jake Paul's dad, after watching this episode, I kind of feel like he might be insane, which is weird. Like Jake's mom's obviously also insane. Like he has insane parents and an insane brother. So it's kind of like that's pretty weird. But I didn't like this episode of the series because like once again, Shane is just reacting to like their videos, which I could watch their videos on YouTube if I wanted to. So it's like, I don't know, I didn't really like that episode very much. And also it's like this is the third episode of the series and Jake wasn't even in it, which kind of bothered me because I really wanted to see Jake in the series, but you know, he didn't come till episode 5, and then he also wasn't in episode 7. So in the 8-part series, Jake was in less than half of the episodes. But yeah, I didn't really like episode 3 just because he was just watching their content, which I could have easily done if I would have just looked them up. But I probably wouldn't have, so I guess I kind of understood it, so I wasn't really mad. Episode 4 was definitely my favorite episode of the series. Basically, he interviewed Nick Crompton, who I love Nick Crompton. Like, that's the thing. It's like I've always been a Nick Crompton fan just because he's a businessman, and I like business. Like, business is what I'm into. I plan on going into business. I'm actually in college right now for business, marketing actually. And that's kind of what he does. Like, he started off his career by starting a social media marketing company, which I plan on doing. I want a social media marketing company. And then Jake found him through that, and they started Team 10. And they actually addressed in the series too. So it's kind of like I found a newfound like respect, and I kind of like Nick Crompton now after watching this episode. Just because as a businessman, what he does is really cool, and he's obviously really good at it. And I was kind of surprised because apparently when Nick Crompton left Team 10, which if you don't know he had, and Shane was interviewing him, I expected Nick to be pretty mad because usually ex-Team 10 members are like pretty mad at Jake because you know they left for a reason, which I don't like how in the series Shane picked the one ex-Team 10 member that actually likes Jake still, and I kind of felt bad for him that Jake like completely cut Nick Crompton off when he left, which I understand. I probably would have too, but it was just like the whole thing's kind of sad when you think about it, and I kind of felt for Nick, and I really liked Nick after this episode, and I really liked this episode. That's the thing, the first 4 episodes of the series, I did not like episode 3, but I liked all the other ones, and at this point I still really like the series, but they made Jake look really good, and episode 4 is when I realized the whole series was basically a redemption for Jake. Which I don't mind if Jake got redeemed or not, but I want him to get redeemed if he actually deserved to be redeemed. If that makes any sense. Like, that's how I looked at it. Episode 5, we officially meet Jake Paul. And I was like, okay, Shane's gonna go hard on the questions. He's gonna be questioning Jake Paul. This is gonna be like good. I'm gonna get some drama. But all they did was hang out. Like, I'm pretty sure that was the episode they went to Walmart on. Like, all him and Jake did was hang out, which at first I was like, okay, you know, I get, you know, they hang out for a little bit before, like, Jake can trust him enough to get in the questions. But I did not really want to watch a 50-minute video of them two hanging out and, like, going to Walmart. I'm like, I watched this series for the tea. I want the tea, which is I did not get the tea. And then episode 6, I'm like, okay, Jake Paul's in this episode too. We are finally gonna get the tea. I was ready, I had my cup, and once again, they just hang out. I'm like, okay, so 50-minute video, they're just hanging out. Another 50-minute video, they're just hanging out. And then the thing is, he did get into some really deep conversations with like Jake Paul and Erica Costello, but we never get to see them. Like, that's the thing, is like we never hear the conversations, because he'd be like, okay, I'm gonna ask, and he'd be like, let me cut the camera off, and then come back, he'd be like, we got into some deep stuff. And it's like, but I wanna watch the deep stuff. So those 2 episodes I pretty much hated, because I'm like, there was no reason for these. I got nothing out of this. I didn't really want to watch you 2 hang out for an hour. Actually, that's even more than an hour. Like, I did not really need to do that. But episode 7 comes, and I'm like, maybe something will happen. And he interviews Alyssa Violet, which if you're watching this and you don't know, that's Jake Paul's ex-girlfriend, but not. And then she cheated on Jake with his brother, and it was all that stuff. But yeah, so I'm like, okay, this is gonna get good. And it did get pretty good, but like Alyssa Violet didn't really give us anything new. But I guess a lot of Shane's fans have never like heard the story, so I guess it makes sense. I guess they got stuff out of it and everything. But I did not like this episode at all. And here's why. It's like, I would have liked the episode if it wasn't for Shane. Now, I love Shane Dawson, please don't like me here. I know he's like really popular. But I did not like this episode because Shane kind of like, basically he wants Jake Paul to be redeemed in his series. And I get that, but he kind of didn't really care how that happened. So he was kind of like, Alyssa would say something that made Jake look really bad, and Shane was like defending him basically, but not. He was like basically defending Jake and making Jake Paul not the victim. And like he was trying to be like, both of y'all messed up. And Alyssa's like, no, just he messed up. And Shane's like, yeah, both of y'all did. So that's what I didn't really like. And he kind of like was disrespectful for her a little bit, which I hate Alyssa Violet. I too. Like, I do not like Alyssa, but I'm like, let her get her side out there unbiased. And then lastly, episode 8, the finale of the series, is the first time Jake and Shane are actually talking about, what the whole series was supposed to be about. And he kind of, like, the way I looked at it, Shane would be like, Jake, why'd you do this? And Jake would be like, yeah, and then he'd be like thinking, and Shane would be like, is it because you wanted this to happen? And Jake would be like, exactly, that's exactly what I wanted. So it's like, I didn't really feel like Jake did anything really. He just kind of like sat there and answered questions while Shane did all the work to make him look good. And it was an hour and 45 minutes long. I had to like, that's the reason this video is coming out so late. I had to like divide that thing up into like minutes, because I am not watching an hour and 45 minutes of them talking. So it was, I didn't really like that episode. I also feel like I didn't really learn anything. Like, there were some questions where Shane was like, you need to do this, and Jake was like, I'm not gonna do that. But he'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, but obviously not. And like, nothing, that's the thing, it's like 8-part series, nothing's changed. I didn't learn anything new. Jake did not learn anything new either. Like, just judging by his like new video, which happened after that, he's still plugging his merch all the time, and he's still doing everything Shane was like, don't do that. So I did not like the series. I wanted to really bad. I really like Jake and I really like Shane, but I just did not like the series, and I really wanted to review it. So if you watched this whole video, thank you so much. Check out the description below. I have merch, t-shirts for $11.22, which is like really cheap. Yeah, I got black shirt Zomey written on it in red, and then one with green, and their shirts are amazing. I also got a nice case for iPhones. I don't have Samsung cases right now, which is weird because I have a Samsung phone, but just because I haven't made it yet. But yeah, check the description and get you some merch. It's really nice. And next week at Monday, 3 o'clock, episode 3 of this new show will be out. So please go watch that, like, subscribe, share, and I will see y'all probably in a few days. Zomey out.